Journeying through the corridors of time and traversing the mysteries of existence, one perennial question echoes across civilizations and beliefs and faiths and religions. Does the soul transcend mortality? The enigmatic inquiry into the immortality of the soul beckons us into realms where philosophy intertwines with spirituality and with science, where faith intertwines with reason, as we seek to unravel the eternal essence dwelling within the human experience. Let us consider the question: if the soul is immortal, what is it that it should do? The language of the soul is pure intuition. This is how you can hear your soul. It takes a lot of patience and skill to go through logical analysis, opinion, bias, verbal thinking, and getting rid of hunches, instincts, guesses, gut feelings, so that you can stop this self-talk and silence your mind and enter into the intuition phase. Let's look at this topic from a number of perspectives, but we want to pick two. At what point does the soul come into the flesh, bones, and blood? If the soul is intrinsically immortal, does it become an ancestor? And how does it become an ancestor? The soul becomes connected to developing a human being at the moment of birth, coinciding with their first breath. That is what we learn from our ancestral archives. Then the soul departs from the human being, from flesh, blood, and bones, at the last breath when the body dies. Those are the two epochs that are very critical. Now, if the soul is immortal, how do we know it enters the flesh, matter, and blood at the first breath? Because the act of breathing itself was seen and taught by our ancestors as significant, making the entry of the soul into the physical body. In this view, it is very clear that inhalation at birth infuses the infant with life. Of course, the infant was alive in the womb, but the infant was dependent on the cycle of the mother of another human being. So transitioning to earthly life and the vital significance of breath, as we understand these topics, it is very clear that we are proving that the soul is immortal by examples that our ancestors taught us. The process of birth, where the body leaves the mother's womb and takes its first breath in the external world, is seen as the transition from a state of existence in the womb to life on earth. It's at this juncture that the soul is believed to unite with the physical form that it has selected to dwell in. The vital significance of breath, symbolized by the ankh, and the act of breathing are all revered as divine gifts and the conduit through which the soul animates the body continuously. The car animates the body continuously, non-stop. This is a diagram from williamwittenvin.com explaining in summary the primeval waters of Nyunyu prior to the beginning, and the Benyu. This is Benyu, means alive. So the waters of Nyunyu are alive, are full of energy. And out of the waters of Nyunyu, the five elements of matter and the nature emerged. And then the energy, the life force, which in the Eastern philosophy they call it prana, all these three activated to create what we know as creation. We have explained this in many of our videos as well as in our books. So there is a tendency to know that the spirit or the soul dies when it enters into the flesh at birth, and that the womb is the tomb of the soul. And then the idea is that the soul is asleep. When the body is born, it means the soul is now out from the womb to the tomb. The soul needs works across the spectrum of living. You should live Ubuntu, Ma'ati, and carry your ankh. Why should you carry your ankh if your soul is immortal? Because after physical death, we learn that the consciousness or the soul moves on into the spiritual realm to be judged and rewarded according to its works in the body, and given a rank. And that rank is what we are going to discover today. But there is also a consequence that is worse than hell for the incorrigible repeater souls, and the Amutet who devour the unworthy. This is taught by our ancestors. The other group also goes through reincarnation and the rebirth, and this is the cycle that we must eventually break so that we can be freed to become a righteous ancestor or a divinity. So attaining the state of an Akhu, Mudzimu, ancestor in Dhlozi, is the best reward for your soul when it graduates from the earth, but it retains its immortality. However, it is now transformed because of the righteous works and performance on earth while it was in the body. It becomes a holy one and even a greater one within the realms of the gods. On the other hand, it may reincarnate again until it succeeds in a lifetime or lifetimes, and only when it has attained good or excellent grades it can be rewarded to become an Akhu, Mudzimu, or Dhlozi. Since it is an immortal soul already, the consciousness that awakened it, or the awakening that it managed to perform on earth, grew in the lifetime, and that awakening and that ability to do works magically infuses the bar and the car with the energy to stand in judgment and to be congratulated to have done very, very well. It is very clear that the car, which is your spiritual duplicate stored in the heart, at death separates from the body, inhabits the tomb, requires the sacrifices, the rituals, so that it can assist the bar to become the Akhu. In a basic way, we can say becoming an Akhu, Mudzimu, ancestor in Dhlozi is created by your righteousness on earth. You now have been passed and you have now gone through the earth. You have gone through the university of life and you have been judged and you have received the afterlife for your soul, and not reincarnation or rebirth or a fate that is worse than hell, which is annihilation or total soul asleep or eternal soul sleep. You survived as an enlightened spirit, enduring unchanged for eternity. The Akhu is usually translated as a spirit, but it is the higher form of the soul. In spell 474 of the Tibetan text we read, the Akhu Dhlozi, righteous ancestor or Mudzimu, belongs to heaven. The corpse, which is the body, belongs to the earth. And it was the Akhu which now enjoys eternity among the stars with the divinities and the gods. The Akhu can return to earth if summoned and if called upon by those righteous people on earth. It becomes Sahu or Shawi to others that are not related to it by blood and by bloodline when it existed on the earth. That's why it is able to help others that are not of its bloodline. The other aspects of the Akhu which could come back become as a ghost, and these are dangerous. These are ingos, ingwendele, skelem, danger, and these are the ones that can be activated to haunt any wrong that has been done, and these are also the ones that can cause nightmares and problems and difficulties. And if we have not resolved this, as we have not resolved a lot of our ancestors that perished in circumstances that are evil, and we are now cooperating with those that murdered them and destroyed them and committed genocide on them, we are living a dangerous Skelem type of life. The Shekem, another aspect of the Akhu which allowed it to have mastery of circumstances, when you say he's gifted or he is a gift or is unique, are the ones that is the one that gives you the capacity and ability to control your surroundings. All these powers are right inside you because you have got an immortal soul. If the soul is immortal, at what point does it come into flesh, bones, and blood? At the first breath of your life. If the soul is intrinsically immortal, does it become an ancestor? It is not really being rewarded to become an ancestor, but it is attaining the degree and the grade of ancestorhood so that it can continue as an immortal soul. So in the Hermetica, we've got the proof about the immortality of the soul. As to the soul and the belief that it is immortal by nature, or may hope to attain immortality. See that point in the Hermetica, very, very important. As I have taught you, all this, the Christians, the scientists, the atheists, all other religions will even persuade themselves first that it is false. No word of reverence or piety, no utterance worthy of heaven and of the gods of heaven will be heard or believed if you go in that route and in that way. You believe in evolution, you believe in the Big Bang and all the contradictions that it carries and the 9 questions that they implore you not to ask. Christianity is popular for teaching that the soul is mortal and it will die. We are showing 3 verses here. In Ezekiel, it says, behold, all souls are mine. The soul of the Father as well as the soul of the Son is mine. This is God who is saying that. The soul who shall sin, the soul who sins will die. So my soul is mine. It does not belong to anybody. What soul is he talking about? They say in God's law, the wages of sin is death. Death to what? To who? And Elohim, who is claiming this soul, is a plural deity, is a group of deities. So let's not worry much about this. Let's look from the book of Coming Forth by Day. It says, if the heart be pure, it rejoins its owner. But if it be sullied, it is given to the devourer. And this comes after a process, an eternal process of trial and error and failure by the individual soul. This is the fate that is worse than hell. If the soul is immortal, the soul may remain asleep while you are alive and living on the earth, and they fail to get any credits, like a student who does not study, and like a student who does not put any effort in their studies. They will fail at university, and their heart, which recorded all these works that they do and they should have done, and all the deeds that they have done, and these are the things that are needed at the judgment for the afterlife, or the continuance, or the promotion, or the graduation of thy soul. You have to remain awake, because Nahast teaches us that we must attain spiritual enlightenment when we are alive today, to experience the state of consciousness and awareness of self and the awareness of divine connection. This is powerful. You are in charge of your life, because the kingdom of heaven is within you. And once you discover that, and once you know that, you will find it, and your immortality is guaranteed and assured. If the soul is immortal, you have to get more information and knowledge. We have a book, Free From God, which teaches you to embrace a soulful journey beyond universal understanding. In this book, Free From God, we share many guiding principles that unveil spirituality, that nature's profound wisdom and universal understanding beyond traditional, scientific, or any other spiritual or religious constraints. Grab your copy today and start on your journey. Till we meet again, remember, you have an immortal soul, which becomes the key to your eternity and continuous rising into infinity. This is the most interesting, enjoyable, thought-provoking message that you can ever have. Your manager Topi, Priest Rabbi LM Kunukenem Jakanja, says, till we meet again, Siabonga, Tenda, thank you, Edupe, Enkos, Asante Sana.